So I wasn't expecting to have an episode of VAG this week, but here we are. We have one. Actually, I haven't added any of this into my spreadsheet. I added it into my collection. Usually I add it into the value spreadsheet and see what my shit's worth first. But I didn't do that, so. I know that I got, from a few cursory looks, I know that I got an okay deal. But not a fantastic deal. So nothing to brag about, but I didn't get like bamboozled. So we'll start with the smallest things and work our way up. Went to the Barnes and Noble, been wanting to check that out for I don't know how many years, because I know that they carry Retro Gamer magazine. This is the first issue I've ever seen, and this is a $13 magazine, but Barnes & Noble had a sale this weekend. All magazines 30% off. So it was just under $10 for this. They also had some books published by the same guys. And there's one with the Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis that I would like to get, but it's fucking $20, and I don't know. I'm so goddamn cheap. Anyway, I've really enjoyed reading this. I spent most of Sunday Sunday evening, lounging around, and I've read a few of the articles, and I actually learned some things about video games, which, once you get into this hobby for 15 years, it happens less and less and less that you're actually learning shit. So I've learned things. Just reading an article about a guy that made a game on the Atari Lynx. I didn't know that the Atari Jaguar had a modem and that a game used it. It's kind of neat. So there's that. Okay. I might pick up... I might get a subscription to that. I enjoyed it. I could see myself reading that at work and enjoying it. So, my girlfriend, she looks at her Facebook things, and she found a post that had some video games, and it was a guy's pawn shop. It looked like a pawn shop. I don't know that it was or wasn't. It might have been a consignment shop. I don't know. It's some sort of used shit store. It looks like a pawn shop. It's probably a pawn shop. So I went and I looked through the games. Found Samurai Warriors. The disc was a little scuffed up. I said, hey, will you knock it down to $2? Went from 3 to 2. Okay. Cool, I guess. I mean, I don't know. It's one of those games I wanted to play back in the day. It's not that interesting. I know what kind of game it is. I don't know. And then this, I've wanted ever since the GameCube first came out. I always thought this just looked like a really good Star Wars game. This is Rogue Leader, Rogue Squadron 2. The disc was in fine condition. I don't know what happened to this part of the case, but other than that, it's pretty good. So I looked through a big stack of the loose games, which were all in yellow sleeves. And while I was talking to the guy, I was looking at his Nintendo games. Now, this guy is not knowledgeable. He also had, eye tattoos, and, he looked like a pawn shop owner. I mean, he was nice. It was cool to talk to for a minute, but he didn't know what he was talking about. So I'm looking at the shit under the case, hey, do you have any older games, like Nintendo, Sega, anything like that? And he had a couple of Nintendo games, 4 or 5. The only two I was interested in, Legacy of the Wizard and MC Kids, or Mick Kids, the McDonald's game. And he's $15 for both. And I'm I'll do 10, because I didn't know how much Mick Kids was off the top of my head. But I know, I've seen Legacy of the Wizard everywhere I go for $5. It's at least around here. It's extremely common. See it at used shops, flea markets, and whatnot for $5 all the time. So I was trying to get it $5 a piece, and I mean that's not even. I don't even know why. I'll just fuck it. I'll find a Legacy of the Wizard at a garage sale someday. Who cares? But I thought Mick Kids might be desirable, and worth, a total of $10 for the two is what I was thinking. And so I tried to haggle him down. He wasn't coming off of it, so I passed. Then he pulls out, and this is fucking cracked me up. He pulls out Dragon Ball Z Budokai 1, 2, 3, Dragon Ball Z Sagas, and I'm like, oh yeah, I've got all these. He's like, oh, well, these are import games. You see Budokai 2? It's got the silver case. It means it's an import. And I'm like, no, it's not. So I crack it open, and your first clue, I'm like, your first clue, fella, is that GameStop sold it for $5.99. There's your first clue, buddy, that it's not worth shit. Popped open the case. I was like, okay, Funimation, that's the company that localizes Dragon Ball in America. It's published by Atari. That's who published it in America. It's not worth anything. I have this at home. It's like, oh well, if you got Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3, hold on to it. It's like, I got both versions, pal. I got the original day one release, and I got the greatest hits because it's got the exclusive skin for Piccolo Daimao and Future Trunks. It's like, hey, I know what the fuck's going on. I know what's up. So I thought that was funny. So I'm over there dicking around with that guy. And then my girlfriend's like, hey, have you seen these games? Or anything here you're interested in? And it's all loose shit. It's like Spyro, Crash Bandicoot. Actually, I don't think there's Crash Bandicoot. I just think it was Spyro, Rayman, and this little gem, Mega Man Legends. And I look at it, and it's a little scratched up. I do this thing where you look at it to see if there's any light coming through, any like disc rot, and it's a little scuffed up. And I'm like, how much you asking on Mega Man Legends? Now, I know this is a more desirable title. It goes for a couple, few dollary dues online, even loose. And he's like, $3. I was like, okay, I'll take it. And now, see, something I'm going to do at some point, sometime soon, probably before the next garage sale season, I'm going to invest in the JFJ Easy Pro, which is a disc resurfacer. Because like earlier this year, not earlier, later in the garage sale season this year, when I got Ninja Gaiden Black, it was scratched up, and a couple other 360 games. They were a little scuffed up, but I managed to copy them all to the hard drive. They work fine, except for Ninja Gaiden Black. Ninja Gaiden is a fucking elusive Xbox game for me for some reason. I'm thinking, it's about $120, give or take, on the deal you get on the JFJ Easy Pro. But I think after a season of garage selling, with the amount of scuffed up discs I pass on, I can easily pay for it and profit, and that I won't feel bad about reselling, because I'm taking something that's fucked up. I have a specialty tool to unfuck it. Then I wouldn't feel scummy selling those things, because I'm saving them from dumpsters and then putting them into homes and I won't feel scummy about that. So I'm keeping this in mind, that I'm going to start buying things that don't look too scratched up. Now this doesn't look, it's a little scuffed up. I don't know. I mean, the resurfacer will be able to fix that, right? It was my thinking. So I was like, yeah, it's like $30 loose on Amazon, at least, for this $30. Yeah, I didn't see anything through it. So I get it home and I put it in my PlayStation 2. Will not read the disc. So I start looking at it a little more closely. Now you see, I don't know if you can see this. Let me get up here. Well, there's something that looks like a scratch. Ugh. Something that looks like a scratch right across here. Uh-oh. That scratch is on the other. It's a fucking crack. Right, like, this much of the disc is cracked. So I just thought it was a scratch. It looked like a considerable scratch, but a resurfacer would take care of it. Not the case. Fuck it. When I get my JFJ Easy Pro, I hear there's a little bit of a learning curve to work with it. Practice disc, but spent $3 on this garbage. So yeah, there's a little crack right there. Now maybe I'll get lucky, and it's only, yeah, I don't know. It's fucked. It's fucked. But it'll be a practice disc, so I don't have to sacrifice anything or try to resurface something I care about. But I was really excited. My girlfriend was so happy that she found this for me. Because, like, the whole day after that, like, we went and did some adventures and shit after that. I was, like, wow, that was a really good deal. $3 for that Mega Man Legends. It goes for, like, $30 loose. Wow, $3, you know? It was a good deal. I was so fucking excited about it all day long. This is the first thing I tested when I got home. The rest of the games work fine. This will not load because halfway into the disc is fucking cracked. Heartbreaking. Absolute heartbreak. I was so excited about this. It's fucking trash. Alright. So, before we went to the pawn shop, like I said, I'm starting with the smaller things and working my way up. But the first stop I made that day was another Facebook find. My girlfriend woke up, couldn't sleep, went out on the couch and was looking on Facebook, and sent me a screen cap saying, "Hey, interested in this?" And what was this item she was asking if I was interested in? Well, it was none other than the Intellivision 2. This is the slim version of the Intellivision. I have two Intellivisions in the collection, but neither of them work. I get a black screen. I'm thinking, based on some research, it may be some loose solder points. There may be a capacitor that's dead. Looks like an easy fix. When I opened up the one, I didn't see any electrolytic fluid on the board, so it might just be a cracked solder joint. But these are supposed to be more reliable. So they asked, she asked how much, $40, and it came with 16 games, which are all in pretty damn good condition. They all have the manuals and the overlays. So I paid the $40. Normally I try to haggle, but, I felt it's a fair deal. I don't know. And I should have haggled. I just do stupid shit all the time. Sometimes I come through with these master strokes, and those are just flukes. It's just a fluke when I get a good deal. When I have a good haggle, it's just a fluke. I figured $40. I never see these anywhere around. So I got it. And then I get it home, and I test it. And what do I test it with? Why, I test it with Donkey Kong, of course. You have a complete boxed copy of Donkey Kong, you're going to test it out. It doesn't work. So then my girlfriend comes down and is like, "Hey, how's it going? Does this thing work?" And I'm like, "No, not yet." And she already knew. This is after the Mega Man incident, the Mega Man Legends incident. So I'm like, "Look, don't jump to conclusions. Don't start messaging this heifer on Facebook yet. Let me fuck with it a little bit." So I clean off a couple games, and I get Frogger to work. Now, it would turn out I did some research, and Donkey Kong and other Coleco published games do not work on the Intellivision 2. There's a compatibility issue. When they redesigned the system, they wanted to keep other publishers' games from working on the system. Publishers like Coleco with Donkey Kong in particular. So that's why it didn't work. After a rundown with some rubbing alcohol, inserting the game cartridge a couple times in and out of the cart slot to free up any goop on the connector itself, and then cleaning the cart off a couple times, doing that move, clean off the game, run it through the system, clean off the game, run it through the system. I eventually got Frogger to work. So I have faith that so long as it's a compatible game and I clean it off, it will work. Because I did have a haggle plan in mind. I was like, "Hey, have you tested it? Does it work?" I'm like, "Yeah, it works great." So that's why I was pissed when it didn't work. It's like, "Oh, those cocksucking liars." Like, I didn't haggle with them because I thought it was an okay price. I was only going to try to get it for $30. I don't know. Then it also comes with this Intellivision plug and play. So someone just had a box full of Intellivision shit. So I haven't looked at this, I haven't tested it out. I'm not wild about plug and plays. It takes 4 AA's. I haven't screwed with it yet, but shit, I might not screw with it. If I do, I'll probably throw it in the for sale box. So, alright. This is already a long video. Let's blow through the titles I got and wrap this up. So here's the original RF adapter. It's got the, you know, little switch between TV and game. It did have this little connector so I can hook it up to cable ready TV. This is just a generic RCA cable, an ancient one, but just an RCA cable, and the switch box. That's cool. In my further researches, I saw that yeah, these adapters are weird. So it did come with the original adapter, and if it didn't, I'd kind of be fucked. It outputs 16.2 volts, which is, there's not a lot of adapters that put out that voltage. So luckily we got that. So let's go through the games. You've seen Donkey Kong, you've seen Frogger. Alright. We got New Atlantis. We got Lock and Chase. We got Snafu. Now, I like these boxes. I like these fold-out boxes, and it's got a little sleeve here for your inserts and your manuals. I also have, I'll get to it when I get to it. I don't want to dig through my pile. Snafu. Space Battle, which seems to have a pretty sizable manual. This looks like a complicated game to play, but Space Battle. And, you know, it is important for these older games to have the manual. Poker and Blackjack, which I already have in my Intellivision collection. I already have Donkey Kong, and I already had Tron, Mesotron. So if these are worth anything, these might get put up for sale. Try to recoup that $3 I wasted on Mega Man Legends. That dumb asshole. Pitfall, which this is a box upgrade. I do have this in the box already, but this is a big upgrade. This is a much better condition box. Let's see. Beauty and the Beast. Kind of has a Donkey Kong look to it. So I guess instead of Donkey Kong, we get that shit piece. We got Locomotion, which the artwork on this looks really interesting. I like this little guy down here smoking. That's pretty tough. It's like a tough train driving man. Let's see. So we got Locomotion. The game looks like an astounding piece of shit on the back. I don't know. I'll try it, I guess. Auto Racing, which the graphics on Auto Racing look pretty damn good. I think that's a graphically appealing game. I don't know. Too bad I don't like racing. We got Space Armada, which looks like a clone of Space Invaders, but with fewer enemies. We got Astro Smash. This looks like a pretty cool game. I'll try it out. We've got Demon Attack. And last but certainly not least, we have Star Strike, which is the first game I got to work. And, oh man. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't care for it. I might need to crack open the manual and see what I was doing wrong. It just seemed really hard to play. Like, the perspective is kind of like a faux 3D sort of thing, and just, I don't know, I was having a hard time shooting space dudes. It was not that cool. And then, got a couple catalogs. Catalogs are awesome. I like looking through these. And one of the things I got super excited about was the manual. Now, I did figure this out on my own. there's only one button, and it's your power and reset. And what you do is, yeah, you hold the power button for 3 seconds, and then it'll shut off. I figured it out on my own, but it was nice to confirm that, because when I was trying to fuck with it to get it to work, it was taking a minute. So, alright, that's what I got. As always, if you keep up with me on my Instagram, you can see what I get when I get it, pretty much. Usually at the end of the day, when I make any sweet scores, I will post in Instagrams about it. And also put up a picture of the title screen to Frogger when I was playing Frogger last night. So that is what I got this weekend. Nothing to brag about. I didn't get fucked anywhere except for with Mega Man Legends. What a disappointment. I just thought it was a deep scratch that I could buff out. Like, it didn't look that bad. And then when I put it into the system, I could feel it. And I was like, oh, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So, what a major disappointment. I was just all day after that, I was talking about how excited I was to have Mega Man Legends. Anyway, thanks for watching.